with the bass in his chest. You feel me? Out the gate. Right. But we about to finish up, so I just decided, I was gonna capture the footage and do something else. But if you happen to tap in and tap off and jump in and jump off, this probably be the good meaty part. So it's up to you, man. I'm gonna let her do her thing. Let me see, can we get her in there? Oh, we can. I got to sit up. That's what I'm gonna do.
Yeah. Hi guys, welcome back to the Black Butterfly Podcast. We are here with Shane Shepherd.
Thank you very much.
I'm Candace. And
this is Samara working the camera, so I forgot about y'all, but I'm gonna do the thing. Go ahead,
y'all. Okay, so we're gonna just piggyback back on what we talked about before we left. At the end of our last session, you talked about how you were incarcerated for 11 years and 11 months. Please expound on exactly what happened.
Well, I was coming back from out of town. I had a lawyer. I had checked with my lawyer to see, hey man, do I have any warrants for my arrest? Because I've seen this and that on the news. Oh, no, you don't have no warrants. You can go out today. So I decided to come back in the city from Fort Wayne because my sister Sharon, she was going to school up there. So I said, okay, I'm gonna slip back into the city, give me some new supplies. I need some smoke. I need to get my clothes washed. I need to do some, little maintenance and going back where I'm at because I'm just kind of laying low. Get back in town and the feds got an operation going on. So they got somebody that's close to me and I know, who the person is, that they set the trap like, hey, listen, I'm going to tell you when he's here, blah, blah, blah. So the trap was set. I walk into the trap. I'm leaving my auntie's house.
So the operation, is that considered like someone informing?
Yeah. Okay. So when I said the feds had an operation, that means the U.S. Marshals had come to somebody close to me and said, hey, listen, you with him, when we catch him, you liable to get killed too. We own him for real. We going to charge you with A, B, and C. And so that person decided, you know what, I'm going to just help y'all get it. And that person's a blood relative of mine. And that person assisted them in capturing me. Excuse us, background noise. We in a public place, man. We had to move from the podcast studio, so please don't mind. But long story short, I was leaving her house. I was up on 55th and Kessler. Nice neighborhood. Auntie had a nice crib. U.S. Marshals in the parking lot across the street. I come out. I get that spidey sense feeling like something wrong. See a couple guys with the big glasses. Ride past, I said, them the police. I already knew, and I knew the trap was set, so I had a gun on me. You know what I'm saying? My sister was with me. We had drugs on us. We had some weed. She had a little narcotics on her. We street people at this time. Police jumped behind me. I'm hitting around the bus. My first instinct is to go around this school bus and bust a U-turn. Well, the car in front of me played cops too. He bumped out, so I couldn't get away. Bumped me. I turned around in front of the bus, come back up, and going the opposite way I came. Well, like I said, they got operations, so they jumped out from different spaces that I didn't even know they was in, hit my car, boop, panicked me, shot me off into the ditch. When I looked up, they was standing on top of my car with the AR-15, you know what I mean? So I don't move, my sister don't move, they snatched out the car, I got caught with a pistol. The pistol was clean, brand new, it was a 380, a Bursa. It belonged to one of my girlfriends at the time. You know how that go, you know what I'm saying? Your girlfriend get the gun for you type stuff, but she didn't get it from me. What she did was she left it in the car because she thought I was going to take her with me. And that was her way. I'll be right back. I'm coming right back to the car. Yeah, all right. I'm not ditching her, but I'm saying you're not going out of town with me because you got a son. You don't understand what you're getting into. That situation caused me to have that on me. When I came in town, I didn't have a gun because nobody know I'm here. I'm in a brand new car that don't nobody know I got. But that's kind of how it went. So when I got snatched out the car, they slammed me down on the ground, cuffed me up. The detectives came out everywhere. And this one I knew it was serious because they started talking about stuff from years ago. We got you for A, B, C, and D. And I'm like, all right, because I know A, B, C, and D don't qualify for me, but cool, that's what you say. So we got downtown, and I figured I was going to be incarcerated for everything that they said. Come to find out, I was only arrested for the gun I got caught with when you set this operation up to get me. So for that time, for that pistol, for that violation at that time, I was an armed career criminal. And so I was sentenced to the minimum sentence, which was 180 months. I just copped out to it. 180 months is 15 years. And off that 15, I did 11 years, 11 months, and 27 days.
Okay. So it's a federal guideline. It's a standard.
Yes. If you, at the time, I had 3 what they thought was predicating offenses, which qualified me for armed career status. But I never did. I only had minor, small drug offenses, but that's what they usually use to enhance young black male sentences. Everything that they can to stack more time on top of you, that's what happened. And so I went in like a soldier and I did what I felt like I needed to do and just go lay down and learn my lessons. Okay. Yes, ma'am.
All right. Thanks for sharing that with us. So do you believe that because you had so much happening to you in your early childhood that you witnessed gun violence, neglect, just because of the role that your father took with the addiction. Mom happened to give you up, and you're going to live with your paternal grandmother. Do you believe that you had some early adulthood trauma, early childhood trauma, and do you believe that it was pivotal in helping you become the man that you are today?
I do. I think 95 or 6% of us African American young males go through childhood trauma in one way or another, whether it's witnessing domestic violence, whether it's being in a situation where you bullied or being bullied. So it's so much that happens, and then we become witnesses to so many things that we don't even directly have an involvement with. Our neighbor beat up his mom, and or he shot his brother, and we learn these behaviors and these habits. One, and then we traumatized by these events. So I do think that I was affected by that. I used to use it as a blanket, like a lot of people do. Like some people will say, well, the reason why this person does this is because he has a sickness, and they start to try to put some science behind your behavior. And at the end of the day, everything in life is a choice. No matter what, you got a choice whether you brush your teeth in the morning. Like everything's a choice. So even with the trauma, I had choices on how I dealt with it, and I chose to deal with it the only way that I had seen in my environment, and that's being aggressive. So
Okay.
yes, ma'am.
All right. So I know that Indianapolis, Indiana has a lot of things that are currently happening with the melanated people and the African American people. And so just to kind of speak to that, there are some driving forces there.
Hmm.
One in particular, I know you kind of talked to me about it and just wanted to know like what's your take on it and how was this person, if you had made any kind of contact with her. And her name is Shauna Majors.
Can y'all hear? Matter of fact, if y'all can hear us well, if you can hear the questions well, give me a couple hearts. If I need to adjust the volume, let me know. But that was a very good question. I like the question. The question was in my walk, in my journey. Thank you very much. She asked me in my walk, in my journey in Indianapolis in the nonprofit world and what I do. Did I make any contact with a Shauna Majors? And my answer to that is yes. And the contact that I made with Miss Majors, it started off as such a beautiful relationship. I mean, black woman, intelligent, smart, seems motivated to do what we need to do in this community to try to make it better. I'm from the inner city. I'm from right here where we talking about working. She's from 79th Street. Back in them days, it wasn't as violent or it wasn't that out there. So our upbringing was different. So it was the perfect match. You a lady with a lot of experience in PACE programs, different helpful around the city programs. You've been working in the penitentiary. So at one time you were on the other side of the key. You was a CO. You was a corrections officer for like maybe 15, 16 years. And so I felt like with your knowledge and your understanding and your ability to get down into downtown, and then me being a guy who's on the streets and can really get to the people who we need to get to. It started out beautiful. So we met. They was auditioning her to be the director of violence interruption or something. Can't think of the title. No disrespect to the title, but they was trying to get people to take this job. Well, they had went through Greg Merriweather, and he was a great candidate, in my opinion, at the time for that job because he was a black man. He had experience. He was articulate. He is knowledgeable, but he was at the time to them an antagonist because he was speaking truth to certain things that he was privy to because of his ability to move in certain circles. And he became an antagonist. And I watched one of the city county council members in a meeting about this job say, even though he's good, and this is a black person, we not giving him that job because A, B, and C. And it wasn't none of the reasons why you shouldn't give him the job. It was every reason sounded personal. So I was like, oh, so y'all not picking the best candidate. Y'all just trying to get somebody in a position that y'all can kind of control a little bit. Y'all know y'all can't control him. That's one thing me and him don't see eye to eye. Let me say that. Me and Greg Merriweather are not like friends, but I'm just a real person and I speak truth to power. I'm not gonna lie because we don't see eye to eye. And it's not me that don't see eye to eye with that brother. It's him that don't see eye to eye with me. But
I actually had the pleasure of meeting Gary Merriweather, and he actually came onto the podcast, and he has some great views about where he wants to see Indianapolis go and what he wants for his people.
I believe him. I think we got two different methods.
Okay.
We seeing it from two different perspectives because of our life experiences.
But does that always mean bad?
No, it's actually if Mr. Merriweather, I'll use that because I put a little respect on it just for his intellect. If Mr. Merriweather could not be influenced by social circles so much, and just said, you know what, I'm dealing with what's real and what's raw. Me and him will be like this. But being that I come from a different social circle, and some of those social circles sometimes don't mix, he holds on to that. He know I'm a good guy. He done been in the room with me. He see how I stand on business. He see how I stand up to the administration. He seen it all from the beginning to the end. He saw it, and I know he did. But anyway, this ain't about him. This is about Miss Majors. So Miss Majors ended up getting the job. She was like the third or fourth candidate. They almost, I'm not gonna say couldn't find one, but it was hard to get somebody. And I was keep asking, why you not picking a black man? A man. We ready to deal with a bunch of young men and youth and violence. That's who's perpetuating most of it. Let's get somebody that look like them. But I'm really the perfect candidate, but there's no way we gonna hire Shane. So what they hired Shane to do was kind of be the glue guy for it. We're gonna get somebody over you, we're gonna get somebody beside you, beneath you, but we know you kind of got what we need in this, but you're a risk. And then the police don't like me anyway because of who I used to be. See, if you send somebody to prison and say, we're expecting you to rehabilitate, that means you must have a system in place for rehabilitation. So that means you should have some good expectations about where you sent me, because if that's why you sent me to rehabilitate, or are you punishing me? So then I go into your system and I actually use your situation, your rehabilitation tools, and I add my own with it, and I really rehabilitate. And so I come home, and here it is. I got a chance to make change in my city. No matter how you feel, you see it's working, and it worked from the beginning, and it never stopped working. I've never been to one of my young men's funerals, and I've had the worst of the worst from your city and mine, Gary and Nat. I never been to a trial where they perpetuated murder on nobody. I got one young man out of probably 60 from that summer of 2021 to from the summer of 2020 all the way through until I was done with it, which was the beginning of 2022. I got one young man that caught a violent case. So when I say it worked, it worked. They funded it, and all my books was, you can see it. You can go, it's public record. I was $12,000 in arrear at the end of it. I'm over budget because I spent and I done what I needed to do without thinking about tomorrow. And that's kind of what caused me. So back to Miss Majors, once the heat got on, she felt like that she was a little stronger than me. She a little better than I am at this job. And so she decided to go ahead and fold. And so she went down there and told them that I was hiding in bushes and she's scared of me, and they put a restraining order out on me. This is one of my best friends at the time. Hurt me with a passion. Still hurt about it to this day. First time I ever really talked about it. Nobody really knew that this is how I got crippled, because when you put a restraining order on somebody, they can't bear arms. See, I'm a legal law-abiding citizen. I got a right to bear arms and protect myself, and everybody know I'm gonna protect me. But when you allow them to influence you to disarm me, and I look at you and say, sis, why would you do that? And it's all because of my social media presence, not because you fear me physically. It's because I jumped on social media right after this stuff happened, and I was spraying your name, and you know how I was gonna go, because I know the truth, and so you hurry up and silence me. And the restraining order was you can't mention her name on social media for 2 years.
So with the 2 year mark.
No, we passed the 2 year mark. That was October the 12th of 2023. So I actually sent her a picture and a text that day and of my family to say, listen, you cannot break me. You worked with the administration, you worked with the people to break a black man, and it did not work.
Have you had the opportunity to have a conversation with her since then?
I would like somebody to facilitate it, because I still got some things I would like to say to her. Not mean, not aggressive, just not even why. I know why, but how could you? Somebody that was in the mud with you had your back 100%, through and through. How could you? It's not that I didn't expect it, because that's a dirty game. The politics, that's a dirty, dirty game. But you was with my family every day. Every single day you was around my wife, my children. You know what's up with me. You know I'm a good guy. You know this, like, from the bottom of your core, you know that man right there is one of the good ones, and you allowed them to trick you into collapsing me. And like I said, I bounced back like God intended, man. So no hard feelings to Miss Majors. I hope somebody get this to her. It's just I still would want to know, like, how could you and why would you put me in a position where I couldn't defend myself? Even if you don't want me to work at the job, you knew that by doing so, it would cause me to not be able to defend me. So, again, no hard feelings, because I'm in a stage now where if it didn't break me, it made me. So
you believe that you guys can ever sit down at the table and you have to get to some point where you can agree to disagree?
I sat down at the table with Mayor Joe Hawk said before he wanted to send me to the penitentiary, so I could sit down at the table with the devil, but I'm gonna stand on truth when I'm sitting there with him, and I'm gonna walk away with my soul.
That's my next question. Can you just tell me a little bit about your experience or your take with Joe Hogsett, and do you believe that he is about improvement for the city of Indianapolis, for melanated people, for Black people, people of color, or marginalized people?
So this is what I'll say: a tree is only known by the fruit that it bears. Look at where his fruit bears. Look at where his investments go. If your investment and your greatest accomplishment since you've been the mayor and you said it out your mouth is the building of the new criminal justice complex, and then I go look and see, well, what's the population, what's the percentage of population that dominates the criminal justice complex? And when it's overwhelmingly black and brown people, then now I got to judge you from that. I can't judge you off your campaign speech because everybody, even Joe Biden, they gonna promise you the world. Donald Trump, shout out to him, gonna promise you the world. But what you do is what makes the difference. And so Mayor Joe Hogg said, like I told these people this years ago, I'm no prophet, but I'm good at what I do. And sometimes God showed me things. I said, this is what he's doing. He's giving money to one of the people that y'all would hate for him to give money to. He's not giving it to who he used to give it to no more. So that means the normal stuff is pretty much over with. Now he's giving it to me and people like me. Y'all creating programs to say, we're going to try this at the street level. Then when you get right where you want to be, y'all collapse that. And the plan that I wrote, that I made, that I've done, you mix that in with the plan that you flew us out to Oakland to imitate. You wanted us to be just like Oakland. Well, if you look at Oakland right now, 2-3 years later, they're the number one. They got the number one homicide rate. They keep killing their police. Crime rate is so high in Oakland, it's unbelievable. But this is the city that we're going to pattern ourselves after. If I'm smart enough to follow the data, you should be smart enough to follow the data. Obviously, the interrupted program cannot work in the capacity that it's in because if it's not working at the parent level, it definitely can't work at the child level. We've only been in it in the city of Indianapolis for 3 years now, 2.5. They've been in it for 10 or 15. And this is the end result. Chaos. The actual chief of police who had stepped down as the chief when we was there, that came to talk to us, the people that we all flew out there. A year later, he got shot at the gas station, gunned him down. He actually lived. This is the one who came telling us, but he was so real. He told us it's only work if it's only right if you work it and cater it to fit your town. And that's what I told them. They Crips and Bloods. They got different structure and different standards. We got down here, we got imitators. We imitate Chicago real bad. We want to be Chicago so bad, it's unbelievable. I'm surprised they ain't in nap talking about Charlie Wally yet. You dig what I'm saying? Because it'd be 30 years late, but it'll sound cool because Big Brother Chicago doing it. So now back to Mayor. If you, everything that they do in Indianapolis, this is what they tell our constituents. We're going to get a report on it. We're going to do the data. And that report takes about a year, 18 months, because you got to figure out who you're going to hire, like they're doing about the shootings now. 15, 20 black people done got, not even just blacks, people done got shot by the police ever since Chris Bailey jumped on there and said, we're not going to stand for this. It don't take people to come from out of town, from New York, they've been to MIT to figure out why people are getting shot. You know why? Because that man down at that jail got choked out. They didn't appreciate it. And so the roll calls, the roll calls become different. The roll calls become, I ain't saying go out there and shoot people, but go home to your family. Don't let this happen again.
Self-preservation.
Yes, and that's all we witnessing. It don't take you to take $2 million invested in some company that you probably got to cuff with somewhere. Somebody knows somebody. You get the nod because you connected. You get in here, you do the report, you come back. If it's favorable to IMPD, they just push it right out. But if it's not, then they even with the videos, with the police shooting videos, why do we accept the fact that you the one with the footage? You get the footage, you send the footage off to your lab, to somebody who you hired. They send it to you, and then you gotta prove it before you release it. That takes the independence out. But we so foolish that we don't hear the language. We don't listen. Just like the oversight committee, all these things that they put language on, and this sounds
now, oversight. You might understand what that is, but can you just kind of talk to the viewers and let them know what oversight means?
Well, it's like if you take two words, base words, over, that means I'm above, and sight means I'm going to pay attention. So oversight means somebody's going to govern somebody else. So if I'm oversight board for a certain committee, then it means whatever happens on that board, and I'm on the oversight board, I'm supposed to have a lot of input and output about the policies and procedures that go on. So I hope that makes sense. Oversight means somebody is going to hold somebody else accountable, and it's not going to be the same people that's perpetrating the fraud. So if I'm the police and I go out and shoot somebody, and the police are investigating me, and then the FOP has got my lawyers, so that means the detectives on this side, the prosecutor is hesitating, so I need somebody from the civilian oversight board. I need somebody with a civilian mentality to say, hey, I'm not a cop, I'm not the blue and black people, I want to see this from a personal perspective. So, they play wordplay with us a lot, and we kind of fall for it because, yes, and we undereducated. If you don't know what a word means, I swear, ask my wife, baby, if we reading a book, how long did it take us to get past the preface of that new book we bought? And it's the preface, it's 20 pages long, but there's so many words and it's so technical and there's so much stuff in there that we didn't know before. We stop and Google every word or pull out our dictionary right away, because not only do I want to know what it means, I want to know the origin of the word, how the word was used at the time it was used, because that's the language. Contracts are in language. If you don't understand the linguistics of the conversation, you're definitely not going to understand the definitions and then how they actually apply when put into principle and practice. So.
All right, there's another person that is a city council person in Indianapolis. His name is Keith Graves. Do you know a lot about him and what he does for his precinct and what he does for his community?
I don't know a lot about him. He popped up on the scene probably like 2020, maybe 2019. I want to say 2020. He's a black man. He's he's in the sorority, fraternity. And so sometimes when you got obligations prior to getting put in a position, I always say, how did you get there? Who's behind you? Who's your funders? Who decided to place you? So when you do get there, now I'm watching you, because if he come in cool, he got hip personality, he can fit in, he can be at the club with you, he got all this going, but are you really going to do for the people that look like you and that's dependent on you? Because the only reason they dependent on you is because you look like them. You haven't shown them nothing to give them that dependence, but if I'm in this position and I come into your community and I say, we about to do A, B, and C, and you don't look like me, I might take it with a grain of salt. But if you look like me and you can talk like me and you got on some gym shoes, you pretty hip, and the ladies is feeling you, you can kind of slick your way in, because I'm the same guy. Only difference is I'm genuine. And I'm not saying he's disingenuine. I'm saying sometimes the conversation and the position don't match what come out of it. Because if I vote for you and you get elected, I want some of that stuff now. I don't want to wait until hope you get elected the second or third. I need some of those things to happen and manifest like now, because that's going to encourage me to come back and vote. So on the strength of Keith Graves, I can't say good, bad, or indifferent. He's a black man. I'm happy to see black people in positions of power. I know it can be a lot of great work done with it. There's a couple other people that appear to be black on the city county council. Some of them, when I say black, let me explain what I mean. Right, Barack Obama's not black. Did you catch that? Barack Obama is not black. Somebody call me crazy, and I'm gonna tell you what I mean by that. In Africa, they don't call themselves black. Nobody in Africa considers themselves black because they have a nation, they have a nationality. I'm Nigerian, I'm Ethiopian, I'm such and such, and I'm Blase Scoop, so I'm not black. Barack Obama does not have one single American black family member. Black is the lost ones, the ones that don't have an identity, that don't have a knowledge of self, that don't have a nation to claim. They call you black. And so in America, we're black, and black people have been enslaved. Africans were not slaves, they were enslaved and turned into black people. So black people have a common struggle. That means we have ancestors that's been in slavery and we've been through this. And so I got some DNA to say I'm fired up about certain things. Barack Obama does not have that DNA in him to say Big Mama and them used to be in slavery in the South. No, his father was a college exchange student, which means you had to have a certain level of GPA, certain level of credential to even become that. So everybody who appears to be your color, melanated, that don't mean they black. So stop being caught up on black and getting caught up with like-minded. I said it to say you got Leroy Robinson on the city county council. You got Bob. Bob's not black. Bob's African. Bob knows exactly what nation he's from, and Bob has, I think Bob got a white wife. I'm not knocking Bob, but I'm saying every time Bob comes to the hood, they think Bob a black dude. Bob don't think like a nigga. He don't think like a black person. Bob think like what he is. High society. I'm big business. Bob is responsible for a lot of the great architectural things we see in the town. So his concern is not with that stuff that we concerned with. And I'm not knocking Bob. I'm just giving you, so when you see Bob, you can't put hope in Bob for this down here because
Grassroots.
Bop's the big guy
Right.
who you used to could put a little hope in, and maybe you still can. I don't know. I'm not present. Leroy Robinson. Here he is. You black man on the Nation of Islam. I mean, you the Nation of Islam. You on the city county council. So to me, when I see those are things that make me put a little bit of faith in you. You know what I mean? Even though I maybe shouldn't, but in this society, that give me hope.
Yeah.
Like, dang, there go a black dude. He a Nation of Islam.
Yeah.
You know, the city county council.
Yeah.
This is a good thing. And it probably is. I don't know, but I'm not present. But I'm saying if I had an opportunity to be in some of those positions of power, you ever seen Mr. Mays out of Memphis? They on the city county council, call to order. They be putting him a call
Yes,
him.
I've seen Mr. Ray.
Yeah,
Yes,
I would-
exactly.
I would probably be him.
Yeah.
Call to order,
Yeah.
because this ain't right. This not going the way we agreed last budget call, or why we can't do a little bit more, even though it seemed like it might not be working. Why is it never nothing carved out for this demographic, poor African American, Latino communities that we're gonna like? If you can ride down a certain street, you'll see like, man, they just put some new sidewalks over there. When the last time we got sidewalks?
Mm-hmm.
That's what I was trying to do. That's what I want to bring attention to. Like, and they'll give it to you. I promise you. If we just can stay unified and we all got a collective thing that we can agree that we want, they can't tell you no because you got a right to it because you're a taxpayer. We don't have organizations that say, hey, we know enough about politics to say, you're not just getting my vote because you're a Democrat no more. You can't just have that.
Share
You need to earn that. And you can't get it because you're a Republican.
Yeah.
You have to earn that. That's why people were so mad at Ice Cube. Oh, Ice Cube's a sellout. Now in hindsight, Ice Cube looked like the smartest man in the world, but guess who ain't got up and apologized? The same black people who canceled him. He got an Ice Cube shirt on. The same black people who canceled Ice Cube, they haven't jumped up and said, bro, you was on to something, because the only thing he said simply was, we gonna vote. And we know that. Because they make us appreciate it so much. Don't change the voting law. They make you so now that we're gonna vote. We should have to sit down with both sides
and provide some
substance on paper.
Yes.
And when you give me that paper, I'm going to take that paper and I, as the mouthpiece, going to go back to the community and say, this is what he said. So let's vote that way. And if he ain't saying enough stuff, then we take his copy over to the red side and say, hey, Trump, guess what he said? And you know these black people are going to go there. All we got to do is go up in church and say, hallelujah 2 times, and he going to come to, they going to vote now. Trump would have sit down and said, oh, no, they only going to give y'all that. I'm going to give y'all, I ain't going to give you 40 acres. I'm going to give everybody a quarter acre. Just an example. Cool. Now you go back and say, boy, that's all he was trying to do. He trying to get in the game. See, right now we're not in the game. We don't have no representation. You know who we should feel like right now? We should feel like the white people in 76. The reason why they bucked, the reason why the people who was immigrants at first decided that we going to stand up for this country is because we have taxation without representation.
Is they dump the
them people are over there taking money from us, and we don't have no single person in the parliament. So next time you come over here with your tea, we're gonna just dump it. I mean, next time we're gonna just dump it. We're gonna make the whole ocean a big tea bag then, since you want to play and tax us without representation. In my city, and I love my city, I love my state. I love it. The state only has 9% black people. 28% of black people are in Marion County. Not 28% of them, but Marion County itself is 28% black, which gives you a little bit of a base. Like you could do something with 28% because you can get you an extra 10 or 12 from just people who kind of feel you. Mm-hmm. So you got some strength. That's how he keep getting the vote. That's why Joe can't lose, because that dude who ran against him, Shreve. I said, bro, they tricking us because this dude don't stand a chance. Shreveport. I didn't think what was that black woman named that Greg Merriweather was supporting at first? And then he stepped out of her way and was like, I want to join with you. I don't even know her, but I was excited. I was like, you know what? Shake your table, little baby. And then she just disappeared so fast. I said, why didn't they wrap around her? The whole town, all 28% of them people should have said, you know what? I'm going with her. Just because she's a sister. I'm going to give her a chance.
I do want to ask you, because we talked about some of the people who are prominent and some of the leaders in Indianapolis. The governor, Eric Holcomb, what do you think about him as the governor of Indiana?
I think if you're going to look at what situation he stepped into, he does a great job. And I think I just got to admit that, because you got to remember his constituency is not us. His voter base is not us, so he don't have to kind of cater to what we want. You go in them small counties and them small towns and ask them how he doing with the war on meth and How you doing with the war on opioids? They're gonna give him big props. I've never heard nobody complaining about him, and I believe that he's a possible potential presidential candidate because Indiana is a test state. You notice anything red, we light up first on the map. Everything. It don't matter because this is so locked in red. Indiana is. If you can handle and agree, if you can govern that, then you can pretty much govern a country because we want the whole country to think like Indiana. Indiana is the perfect candidate for what the United States of America would like to look like. And did you notice how when we talked about it, if we say it's 9% black over the whole state and it's 28% right in the center, that means the state has even been gentrified. We even know the inner city in the state.
Yeah.
Only one place in Indiana, and obviously y'all right there close to Gary's.
Gary's the only place in Indiana that's Democrat.
Everything
Republican.
And I wonder why. But look at this, big dog. If Gary the only place in Indiana that's Democrat, and you've been voting Democrat religiously for years, why is it one of the most declining, impoverished, undereducated towns in America?
I'll hit you with this too.
Yes,
see,
sir.
I see. Before I was in my business page, I did a lot of research.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know Gary mayor makes the most out of all the counties in the state of Indiana?
No, you talking about like not Gary, Indiana.
Gary, Indiana's mayor make the most out of all the mayors.
So he's a plant. Mayor,
just the salary. Just
Mayor of Gary, you're a plant. If you make more than other mayors,
the new mayor actually just stepped into
just got in.
However, the mayor prior to that, I think it started with Karen Freeman. She made the most, and then after her,
Prince.
I think it's Prince, and then now.
And
I'm not absolutely sure what he's making because he just actually took his seat. So we're gonna hold off on that one.
But I'm gonna add to that.
Did he turn it down when he walked in? Did he say, you know what, I'm not gonna take this because it doesn't seem balanced with how?
But we don't know what his salary is. He just actually stepped in.
He just got inaugurated.
Well, I hope he get as much as he can. I'm gonna say that because black men eat.
I'm gonna step into the inauguration. So at this, so speak to what's his name, Mayor Joe Hogsett. So we're sitting there at the inauguration, and he comes in. So of course, it's all these black people. Gary's.
Shout out to Westside for hosting the inauguration for the mayor-elect for Eddie.
But he was there, and I sat there. I'm like, man, I said, first thing he did, like he said, it's the playbook. Start Bible verse, get everybody hooping and hollering, and then I'm just like, and I remember because you and Greg, because he also friend of the show, talking about how I'm like, wow, you really be on some playbook shit. Like you don't even deviate from the playbook. Yeah, you just stick to the script because that works. And it makes me cringe because it's like the people who were hooping and hollering, what our age, they're all 50.
No doubt.
And I'm just like, y'all are gatekeepers.
Yeah, for sure. But it's two sets of gatekeepers.
To follow that up, that's my next question for you. Okay, so I know we gotta get
go ahead.
Do you believe that Indianapolis is for the people, or do you believe that they're for empowerment of black people or people of color?
I think Indianapolis is a great city, especially now looking from the outside in. Like I love what I see on the surface, right? You got a lot of construction, highways, big nice curved black hotel. They've been there, but I'm just saying the aesthetics of that. It's like, okay, we kind of popping. Yeah. Go to the airport. Every time you go anywhere, they tell you, "Oh, you in Indianapolis? They got the number one airport." I always ask why, because it's efficient. Yes,
really? Okay.
Indianapolis has been the number one airport for 12 years in a row.
Really?
Internationally, yes.
Really?
It's efficient. It's clean. They love it.
Yeah.
So the city itself is a beautiful place, but when you don't have representation, again, go right back to that. And the few people, again, this go back to what I said. I'm not the exception. I'm the example. I'm the one that you will make an example out of because that'll have the most impact, right? I'm the one that you, like I said, I want to be the one that you look to say, how do you do this? How you play that role? But you get some exceptional people who made an exception for him. And now he's in this particular role, and he's the only one that looked like him in that role for a while. So he gets, before you even allow the next one to come in, you got to get this one broke down first. Slavery not changed. It just looked different, and you get paid now.
Yes.
So if you're going to come into my establishment, which is the nonprofit world, that's a world. You come into this world and you look like I do, some of their attitude is, you know what I had to go through to get here? Well, I've been to school. I got student debt. I've been shot down. I worked in the clerk. And here you come after penitentiary. and you done went up to you on the same floor I'm on, and you actually, I done checked your books, Mr. Shepard. You actually make it more to me because you used your, get him out of here. So gatekeeping, a lot of it comes from.
One second.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, 1 second, because I know you want to tell it all.
Mr. Gatekeeper.
I remember Sam Cooke, right? I love Sam Cooke's song. So Sam Cooke is coined with a change is going to come, right? So do you specifically see, because we talked about representation, currently in Indianapolis, Indiana, there is not a lot of representation for people who look like us.
Right.
Okay. Do you believe that there is going to be some form of positive change in the next 6 months, the next year, or the next 3 years?
No.
Okay.
This is why I say no for Black and brown people. Because it don't start with downtown. It don't start with politics. It don't start with the preachers. It don't start with the elected officials. It starts with the people. If the people cannot figure out, who are we? And I ain't talking about some religious identity. Are we members of society or not? If we're not going to play in society, then let's just all the way go outlaw. You can't say, well, I want to be like a good person, but my baby daddy sell dope and still kill people. Like, we got to get a situation where there's a separation of mindedness. And then the people with like minds, we got to come together and say, okay, now we care now about how our community look. We care about curbs. We care about trash. So before they can do anything, before anybody can open the gate, we got to get ready to even be ready to walk through the gate.
Now, since you talked about gate, I wanted to just wheel you and Amaru back in because you guys are so excited to talk about it. So who are the gatekeepers in Indianapolis, Indiana? What do they look like? And do you believe that some of them are responsible for mass incarceration in the state of Indiana?
No, they are not responsible for mass incarceration in the state of Indiana. Who are they? I haven't lived there for, I think, 2.5 or 3 years. So currently I don't know because the gatekeepers change sometimes. However, if I had to describe the gatekeeper as a persona, as a personality, you go into an organization. I'm gonna use an example. I'm gonna give you a gatekeeper. Let me think of one.
And by no means, when he says this, does this represent the thoughts and views of the Black Butterfly
These
Podcast.
are his thoughts, right?
These are his thoughts.
So here's a gatekeeper for you. Shauna Majors is a gatekeeper. And I'm not saying it in a bad way, but here's what I mean. And this is the description of what a gatekeeper looks like. It does, right? Types. Because I had to think, like, some people, I know you're a gatekeeper, but I just don't want to talk about you. You know what I'm saying? But Miss Lady, I'll say this is what I mean. Say you get a position, you get a job, you the director of public safety stuff. You can't make no decisions about who gets the money. Not one. You don't even get to sit in on the decision-making process at all.
Just title.
Because it's called a conflict of interest. So they give you the job and they make everybody think that they got to come to you and it's cool to be cool with you and they got to curry favor with you to get a grant, which made everybody think that me being cool with you got me a grant. But they got things in place because the city of Indianapolis is a big business. This $1 billion organization, and so they don't play about their money. So in order for you not to be able to give money to people, we put this clause in this contract that you can't even sit in on the decision making of who gets the money. So now here's where your gatekeep come in. You know you can't make no call, but you play it like you can. And so you create a favor with people. People want to kiss the ring, but you know you can't help them. So that's one side of it. But then when you flip it on the back side, when it's time to, if you just put your grant in and this person who's the gatekeeper, Miss Majors, don't like you, or it's anything about your organization that you don't like, even though I can't sit in on the grant process, I can still sit in the meetings Monday through Friday and say, they're not performing how they should. They're not who they say they are. They're not being, so you can't make the decision, but you keep on leaning weight towards or away from your influence. So you gave me a key to a gate because all I gotta do is just whisper you out. It's harder to whisper a person in than it is out. I swear. You can come to, like you told me of a person, I won't say his name. You told me of a person who called you 4 or 5 times for help. You give him your assistance in whatever way you can. And then when it's time to listen to what you got to say, it's really not that important, or we keep pushing it back. That's a gatekeeper, because I know you can open the door. It's not even a question, can you do it? It's what is it going to take me to get you to do it? And that's where the problem comes in. I'm going to say this, and my wife know this, and I'm sure she going to turn her head like, boy, and why? In order for me to get in some of the doors I got in, women seduced me in Indianapolis. Women, and Shauna Major is not one of them, so please don't put that on my resume. I swear, that's my right hand. That never happened. But in a couple of the positions, I started to catch on to like, you flirting.
Mm-hmm.
And so in the back of my brain is like, oh, okay, I see your flirt, but I'm going to score a touchdown if we entertain this. And I even had to like ask myself, like, are you going to do that? And I told myself, yes, I am. And I did. And I felt like a cheap prostitute afterward. I think they turned it up on us on purpose.
Yeah.
But it doesn't matter. So at the end of the day, the gatekeepers, they get what they want. And then they give you a dribble of what they think you should have. And like I said, by the time I learned the game, I realized, oh, okay, my brain is better than some of y'all's. So I'm going to learn, go sit down and go to these grant writing classes and just keep listening and see what they need and what do you need. And then if I couldn't do it, guess what I did? I would go hire somebody. I move that money around. You know what I'm saying? Like when I write a grant, I already got contingencies built in there because I know I'm going to have to pay some people to do some stuff.
And that's a skill set that a lot of people don't have. I work with a nonprofit in Gary real quick, and she had to hire a grant writer for some of the grants she does in Gary. And so that is a unique skill set that a lot of people don't have, or they trying to acquire.
So best way to write a grant, if you don't have a grant writer, you're not a grant writer, because I have never completed a grant on my own. You know what we do? We do grant by proxy. If you're real good with the budget, see, it might be my vision and my idea, and I know how to bring it to paper. And now I got the narrative of what we want to do, and you know how to operationalize it, and he know how to do the budget for it. And then we sit down and we just break out some coffee, and we spend hours in here, and everybody play to their strength. And once you finish, every time we did that, we got granted. Every single time we done that, we got granted.
Well, we're going to wrap up soon because I know the place that we're in there, everybody's watching the game. They're excited about that. So just talk to us a little bit about what is your mission. We're talking about the present. What's your mission?
Just to continue on my path, to continue to be the example, continue to get up swinging every time I fall down, to continue to be positive, to continue to find the good in situations, you know what I mean, continue to push forward, continue to be a father. I'm getting back to my books. I'm getting back to writing. I'm this fourth quarter, I should be dropping a ebook as well as an audio book that you can that's combined. So just getting back to doing what I want to do and just loving me and loving life, man.
Okay. So here I have that you are an author, an inspirational speaker. You own 3 businesses. You're the founder of Before You Fall, a not-for-profit organization. You also help out youth that are at risk. And then you're a writer, is that right? Currently a CEO of Hard Publishing. Okay, so those are some good things. You counsel people as well, and I also seen that while you were incarcerated, you learned about therapy and cognitive behavioral therapy and what science is behind trauma.
Absolutely.
And so, lastly, what's your mission?
What does the future hold for you?
We haven't got.
My mission is
what's your mission?
Seek after God and just figure out what He wants from me, and just wake up daily and do what my program say. So my program is already a pro-social program. I'm a father. I don't drink alcohol like that. I'm not out here abusing drugs. So I want to just keep doing that. And in those days, you get visions and you get ideas and just keep existing until that thing happens. Until then, I'm just cool being that lady's husband and them kids' father. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm perfectly fine riding off into the sunset doing that, man.
Okay. So as we finish up, talk about like the things moving forward. What does the future actually look like for you?
So exactly what I said I was going to do in my own town, I'm going to do in my new town. So when I was in my own town, my plan was to buy enough land to where we can actually build on it together, make sure it got the basic essentials, some water on it. That's all we need. And now here it makes it better because now I can plug it up to the sun and actually use solar. But I want to get enough of my own land to where we can create our own little environment. You know, a group of people that I admire, everybody think they weird, but every time I see them, I stop and stare because I'm trying to soak up some game. Amish people.
Yes.
right? And I couldn't churn my butter. I probably
I
couldn't
swear to
not go
God.
without watching TV. But this is what I respect.
Mhm.
One of your ancestors, somebody in your lineage left a legacy and a way of living, a culture, and you have maintained and stuck to that culture for since the beginning. And when I see you in the horse and buggy with that big orange sign on your
With the
back,
long
with the
beard,
long beard,
with the hat, the
I got
suit,
all the
everything.
jokes in the world, but guess what? I'm really envious because you have an identity and a culture,
You haven't
and it
assimilated.
works.
You stand with your people. Y'all building blocks. Y'all building schools, businesses. Y'all
You
ain't.
don't need the outside world.
They don't.
I guarantee you this: the Amish watching TV by now. I
Yeah.
bet you that. Not a lot, but I guarantee you they get them a little sports on there, something on there by now.
My next question, thank you very much for the answer. My next question to you, do you see yourself partnering with any agencies, any individuals? I know you selected us to share your story. Any current partnerships?
Nope. A lot of my business now is outside of the nonprofit world. So
Okay.
I'm in right now. I'm into the stock market.
Okay.
I own property. I'm into a little bit of property development. And so my life changed. I don't none of who I was. I met. I don't. I'm not gonna say I don't need that, but I gave so much of myself, and to go out unappreciated. See, I won because my kids changed, lives changed. I succeeded without a doubt about that. I'm proud of that. 100%. I go look at the camera. I'm 100% proud of every single thing I done. I just hated that I went out unappreciated by the people I done it for.
Mm,
I hate that.
mm,
I hope one day that they wake up and say, "Hey, big dog, I didn't see it when I saw it. I didn't know what I was witnessing, but I saw that was history what you had made right there. You did something. You broke the door open, my dude, and we didn't see it. So maybe if we did, we would be in a position.
All
Oh,
right. And
time to go.
so, how do you plan to continue to create change?
So
mm.
I'm going to be my own funder. See, that's what I learned. If a person builds your table, they can kick your legs out from up under you. I got a couple hard money people. Like I said, two of my business partners. One is a low level millionaire. The other one is a high level millionaire. I'm just a thousandaire. But
Okay.
I'm in a position now to where they see we can't do what you can do. So we're gonna pour this into you. So what is it that you want to do? And so now it's up to me and my wife this year before the fourth quarter to come up with that plan on paper because my hard money man, see a lot of times it'll be the money. Now my hard money man said, bro, we behind you. Like we don't wash you. We sent you we thought you were about to turn backwards and start slinging iron
Yeah,
and you didn't.
yeah.
So guess what? Basically, you passed the test, Daniel, son. My wife was on the phone the other day. It made me happy, but I already knew it was coming because it ain't coming from him, it's just coming through him. It's coming from God.
All right. And so, is there hope for a better world and true freedom for youth, marginalized people, and people who are melanated people and marginalized people? Do you believe that there's hope for a
Yeah,
better
in
future
the new world.
in the
Yeah,
new
see,
world?
people are so scared of the new world order. I look forward to it because there's two sides of the new world order: a lot of control, a lot of chaos, a lot of this, a lot of that. But I serve the Most High. He already told me this was coming. And in this new world, through the trials and the tribulation, I'm gonna be fine. I'm gonna be straight. So I look forward to that because before you can build, you got to destroy. So we about to
Mm-hmm.
destroy the old world, and people scared. Oh, the Antichrist and this and the third. You acting spooky, but they definitely going to change the way that everything moves. And so I'm not afraid. I'm not worried, but I know nothing is about to get better. No time soon. It's got to get way worse before it gets any better, and That's why I'm raising up now. Because when it gets as worse as I know it's gonna get, I want to be that voice of reason. I want to be the person who say, "Man, if I'm gonna get to go on social media, I'm gonna go listen to him because at least he talking about something that can relate to me. At least I know him. He not Usher or none of these Chris
No
Browns. And stuff.
entertainment. Right.
Take your
right,
shot. Take
right,
your shot
right.
because it's good. And then 2 years later, your face crooked.
Then
You
you
know,
drop the
I have
dead.
two
come on,
more
man.
questions for you before we end out the segment. So, do you believe that you are being the change that you want to see in the world?
100%, 150%. That's one of my slogans. My
Thank
book is Truth and Change. My title is Truth and Change. My YouTube show gonna be called Truth and Change because the truth it has no choice but to change you. Now, what you do with that change, you can fight it, but if you get that truth, you can't do nothing but resonate in your spirit and change you. So that's what I plan on doing from here. I'm not for popularity. I don't care about likes, shares, views. It could be one person that hold this whole interview. One day, big dog, but they hit me. I done my job. So
All right. So Maya Angelou stated, do the best you can until you know better, and then when you do, you know better, do better. Any other questions? Any other things that you would like to talk about before we end the show?
unify, find an umbrella and get under it. If you're not the umbrella, if you're not part of the creation of the umbrella, Find an umbrella that you can pretty much stay out the rain and get up under that umbrella, and then learn how to follow. Me, I'm a great leader, but I'm a better follower. I promise you. Like, I got so many people that you don't see in the wings that I follow. I listen to. I take their words of advice. I'm not too big. I don't know everything. Most of the people that I come in contact with, a lot of times, I'm in a better financial position than them. But I promise you, I still give them their due diligence when it comes to listening to what they say and taking that wisdom in. The people who do have better finances than me, when they mention money, I listen. Like, because there's nothing that, if you already doing it, ain't no sense in me talking. I'm just gonna listen.
Yeah.
And that's what I learned how to do. I'm the follower in that lane, but I'm the leader in this lane. So learn how to follow somebody and test your leaders. Test your leaders, man. Make sure he's morally on solid ground, man, and then let him lead you. You know.
Well, thank you, Shane, for joining us.
Yes,
Again,
ma'am.
thank you, both audiences, for joining the Black Butterfly podcast as we highlighted Shane Shepherd's past, present, and future. Shane, please tell our viewers how they can get in contact with you about your book writing, about your agencies, any of your business. How can they get in contact with you? Please share all your handles.
Don't bother me until 2025. I'm serious. I'm a dude that's gonna properly prepare myself so I don't perform poorly.
That's real.
So let's just make it through. You know what I mean?
That's
You can
real.
follow me on social Facebook, TikTok is Shane Zulu Shepherd. I'm just now starting that. All of it is Shane Zulu Shepherd. So, and again, I'm not even ready. I'm not prepared. I got a lot of stuff I'm trying to do because when I come, I want it to be so solid that you can't shake it this time. Because I want it to be self-funded, self-governed, that part. So don't follow me yet. Just keep watching, you know what I mean, on the slide.
Again, thank you for joining the Black Butterfly podcast. I'm Candace, the host. We have our co-host here.
I'm right here, y'all. I'm back here.
Outside.
All right, guys. If you are interested in an interview with the Black Butterfly podcast, please just send us a DM. Thank you guys for your time. I know this was a long interview, but Shane really wanted to get out his side of the story, and we thank you again.
And I don't even think I got it all the way out. I think they done. But listen, y'all go follow Black Butterfly because I do think that
Please follow us.
It's a good podcast. They got great questions. She's fully prepared. We didn't even get to really take our time and do all of it like she wanted. But y'all follow her, man. Follow him, man. Get with it because y'all got to follow something. Love y'all. Stay safe.
Thank you. Bye,
All right,
guys.
y'all.
I see my auntie on there. She got everything to say.
Oh.
Speak after Sharon. Speak, nephew.